Us. I am George. We are all George. And today, today we're seeing some extreme pumps with Bitcoin, with Binance Coin, and with entire market, which is nearing $1.7 trillion. And Bitcoin alone is now worth more than $1 trillion. Yes, Bitcoin is now a $1 trillion asset. So why is everything so bullish right now? Why is everything going up to the moon? And is it going to stop ever? Is this gravy train go just keep on going, or is it going to come to an end? Well, let's discuss. Let's discuss in this stream, and let's see where it goes. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I have two streams. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you tune in both and get notified by hitting that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter and follow me on Facebook. All right, let's do this. Those of you guys that's in the chat already, welcome. Man, there's just too much going on today. There's way too much going on today. In a good way. In a good way. All right, so Bitcoin is at 54,300, up another $2,700, 5%. And you could see yesterday, I said during my stream in the morning, I'm like, man, I'm surprised how well Bitcoin is holding, despite the fact it just pumped up to the 50s, 52, and I was just holding there. And guess what? Boom, right? Now we got another small leg up, and we're nearing that 55,000 mark. Like I said, at 50,000 is a big psychological level. I mean, to think about, we're more than halfway to 6 digits, right? And 50,000 is a very monumental mark too, because at this point, Bitcoin is now above $1 trillion. This is the point of no return. Basically, no one can deny the fact that Bitcoin can hold its value, and it is a hedge, and arguably a better hedge than gold, because gold continues to come down while Bitcoin continues to go up. So everything versus Bitcoin is going down dramatically. Doesn't matter if you compare it and value it to the dollar, to gold, to silver, to real estate, to bonds, to anything out there. They're all decreasing while Bitcoin keeps increasing. So in fact, your purchasing power for Bitcoin keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is why going forward, the number of Bitcoin that you need to buy something keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Pretty soon, you'll be able to buy a Lambo with 1 Bitcoin. And soon after that, you'll be able to buy an entire mansion with 1 Bitcoin. That is where Bitcoin is going right now. So this is definitely huge, continues to rise, and there's many, many reasons why this is happening, but it's the point of no return, in my opinion. Like, after 1 trillion, you know, the naysayers and all the analysts at CNBC and all these guys that freak out about Bitcoin going up, I mean, pretty soon, this is normal. This is reality. Face it, right? Bitcoin is not going to go away, and it's only going to go up from here. And, refreshing this now, companiesmarketcap.com, you could see that Bitcoin has climbed up above $1 trillion. $1 trillion, it continues to move up while others are kind of stagnant at this point. And Bitcoin only needs to go up another 50%, so roughly around 75,000-ish, and then it will be equal to silver. And I mean, just think about how big that is. So how long has silver been around, right? People make this argument. Gold has been around for 5,000 years. I don't know how long silver's been around. Maybe 1,000 years, maybe just as long. I mean, obviously, we're all digging in from the earth, but I mean, when it got popularized, just because something has been around for 5,000 years doesn't mean it's going to be the standard forever. In fact, there is no real standard that's the gold standard or silver standard anymore, other than, I would say, jewelry. Which, yeah, it's nice to have gold rings, gold necklaces, earrings, and all that stuff, right? But Bitcoin is the new version of gold. It's a digital version of gold without any of the bad and side effects or the negativity. And that is why Bitcoin is now climbing higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, right? Just like Apple, just like Microsoft, just like Amazon. They created digital versions of analog things, and they are now the dominant figures, right? And same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I have no doubt in my mind, will equal gold in the near future. Whether or not that's this year or next year or 5 years from now, it's really irrelevant. But you could see that there is still 11x to go for Bitcoin, which means that Bitcoin can still go up 11x from here, which means Bitcoin can go up to over $600,000 and beyond that afterwards, right? So very, very, very exciting. Very exciting, very big. Now, what has happened? Any bullish news? Well, there's always bullish news on Bitcoin now. There's just so much going on. First of all, this indirectly helps Bitcoin, but I hope a lot more exchanges are going to be doing this. OKCoin is delisting voluntarily. They're delisting Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV to avoid misleading new Bitcoin clients. I applaud them for this move. I've always said Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, any other altcoin with the Bitcoin name in it is just stealing the thunder from Bitcoin. It's misleading people because they're coming in. They're like, oh, this must be another form of Bitcoin. It's cheaper. Let me go get it. No, it's not. They're copycats, and they are not Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if they have Bitcoin in the name, right? So yeah, super chat. Thank you. I'll get to them during Q&A. So this is the thing. I hope all exchanges just go ahead and just delist all these nonsense Bitcoin copies. You know, this is what I've been saying. People are still trying to support Bitcoin Cash at this point. I'm like, why? Why? Do you enjoy a network that can get 51% attacked anytime? Do you enjoy a network with no transactions on there? Do you enjoy holding a token that has paled in comparison to Bitcoin ever since it was released? No, right? So yes, every exchange should just start doing this. If Coinbase follows, and other big exchanges like Binance does it too, it would be massive, and those tokens will tank to zero, and I'm looking forward to that. So I applaud OKCoin for this move. Now, what else is there? Well, the mayor, Miami mayor, he pledges that he's a Bitcoin bull, but he plans on buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, but he hasn't bought any of them yet for some reason, right? He's waiting a little bit too long because they're all pumping up to the moon right now. So he should have bought when he got elected, months ago. Young Lord, I'll address Ave in a little bit. I addressed this yesterday. I'll address that, and Walker had a question about rent. I'll address it in the Q&A section. So this is also very positive. He wants to turn Miami into a big Bitcoin and crypto hub, maybe the new Silicon Valley. I don't know if he's going to make it favorable for tax reasons or whatever, but I'm looking forward to it. I wish more mayors or governors come out and declares the same thing. So very, very positive. Also, what else is there? Well, the North American Bitcoin ETF that was launched yesterday, it hit 165 million trade volume in its first day. That's a lot, and I'm pretty sure today it's probably going to be higher than that. Next week is going to be higher than that, and that's the very first one. There's a second one already approved, and you know that as big as Canada is, which they're really not that big, no offense, when the United States opens up their Bitcoin ETF, the volume will be 10, 20, 50, 100x higher than the volume on the Canadian exchange, right? But this definitely helps. As more and more traders, or institutional investors, I should say, hedge funds, the ones that want exposure to Bitcoin, they've been waiting on the sidelines and they simply can't wait anymore. They're all trying to FOMO in. The easiest way is to just tell their brokerage, hey, go buy me some Bitcoin ETFs, and that's it. And they get indirect exposure to Bitcoin. But really, this indirect is really direct because these funds, they're holding Bitcoin. They have to buy more Bitcoin to be able to offer these shares, right? Kind of like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, but it works a little bit different. But a lot of very wealthy individuals and a lot of these institutional investors and even public trade companies and others, they're looking forward to a Bitcoin ETF. So this is also helping drive things up, putting more money into Bitcoin, right? And And if Canada approved, and they're already going through this, it's very, 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 very unlikely that the SEC, the new SEC chair, who I don't know who it is, will say no to a Bitcoin ETF. Because if a whole continent, a whole country right above us says yes, it's okay to do this, you can't be fearful because Bitcoin is a worldwide phenomenon, right? You got to just let it go and run free and let the market dictate. Well, the SEC, I think, is going to allow it. So there's already 2 that's pending. Van Eyck, and there's one from, I forgot, Bitwise or BitPay, one of the other ones. But yeah, that's coming too. Also, today, Elon defends his Tesla 1.5 billion Bitcoin buy. Although it's not very, very bullish, but still bullish enough. So again, this caused a lot of controversy. And Tesla stock has been doing very poorly ever since this came out. Seems like some Wall Street veterans do not like this move, so they started selling Tesla or shorting Tesla. But we know that is a very, very bad move. Even MicroStrategy has been down over the last week, even though it shouldn't be because things are going up. Riot, the mining company, they took a huge dive yesterday for no apparent reason while Bitcoin keeps going up. You know that some Wall Street guys, they're jealous. They don't like what's going on with Bitcoin. So now they're trying to short all these companies that's involved with Bitcoin. But you know, these guys, they're going to lose. They have no idea what they're dealing with, right? But according to Elon, he's like, Tesla's action is directly not reflective of my opinion. Having some Bitcoin, which is less dumb form of liquidity than cash, is adventurous enough for an S&P 500 company, right? Francisco asks, if a big correction occurs with BTC in the future, do you think ETH and ADA will correct as well? No, they will correct. They will correct with Bitcoin. Let's not forget, they're not standing on their own just yet. The whole market is carried by Bitcoin. And all these predictions, all these forecasting, all these things I've been saying about some of these big cap altcoins, they all hinder on Bitcoin going up much further. If Bitcoin topped out today at 55,000 and is starting to come down, guess what? All the altcoins will follow. They're not to the point where they are standing on their own. The whole market is carried by Bitcoin. That is why Bitcoin commands 1 trillion out of the 1.7 trillion market cap, right? So that's honestly how I see it. But that also works in the favors of the altcoins because a lot of people that's been around since 2017, 2018, they're a little fearful, especially some of these coins that are high flying, kind of like the ICO days, right? But here's the fundamental difference. Here's the biggest difference of all. In 2017, we knew Bitcoin topped out. It went up to 20,000 and started coming down. We know that right now, with Bitcoin being even at $54,000, the momentum just started. Bitcoin is nowhere near topping out. That is the biggest difference. That is why myself, I'm not so worried that there's an altcoin bubble that's about to burst because Bitcoin is only getting started. Now, if Bitcoin was at $500,000, at $600,000 equal to gold, then I would say at that point, yeah, maybe there's a correction coming up. But right now, we're nowhere close to that. So that's how I view right now versus 2017 and 2018. So yeah, to continue on, Elon says, to be clear, I'm not an investor. I'm an engineer. I don't even own any public trade stock besides Tesla. But he does use his money to keep pumping Tesla. So he has a good funnel. But anyways, however, when fiat currency has a negative real interest, only a fool wouldn't look elsewhere, right? Bitcoin is almost as BS as fiat money. The key word is almost. So even though he calls Bitcoin BS, it's still not as BS as fiat. And that's the important thing. As long as it's better than fiat, then you should buy Bitcoin, right? That's how he views it. So, I mean, Elon obviously made a big move, got Tesla involved, and this turned the world upside down. People can't believe it. And I'm waiting for the next big public trade company to do so, to jump right in. But in the meantime, you know what? Michael Saylor is like, I wait for nobody. I am Bitcoin Jesus. So, MicroStrategy, remember his convertible notes offering? Supposed to be 600 million. It went up to 690 million. And then yesterday it was reported that it was going to be 900 million. And now look at this. he completes 1.05 billion offering. So that just completed. So what does that mean? Michael Saylor has another $1 billion of cash on hand. And guess what he's going to do with that? He's going to be buying Bitcoin, right? So we're going to see another 1 billion influx into Bitcoin in the near future. And who knows, this may push it beyond 60,000 at this point, right? So nonstop money going into Bitcoin right now. And you can see right here, trending 1 trillion. I bet that 1 trillion is about Bitcoin. Yeah, all the Bitcoin guys saying 1 trillion. So it is definitely one of the big trending topics. And of course, a lot of celebrities are getting involved, getting their fans to bring awareness to their fans, and a whole lot of other guys. You know what? Vihey, I know I butcher names. Appreciate that super chat. Yeah, so tonight I'll be celebrating. So that is Bitcoin. But what about everything else? We can't ignore what's going on right now. Despite the fact Bitcoin has been going up this much, which is fantastic, look at BTC dominance. BTC dominance is still 60.8%. Normally, when you have this kind of pump for Bitcoin, especially this fast, BTC dominance shoots up to the moon, right? But right now, it's not shooting up to the moon, mainly because of one big cap, one that I've been covering a lot. And that is Binance Coin, which is now sitting at a ridiculous $46 billion market cap. I take that back. It's not ridiculous. There's good reason for it, but it's just ridiculous how fast it's moved. It's up a staggering 50%. Even in my stream last night, when I was talking about Binance Coin, it was at like $210. So it's gone up almost $90 since last night. And it is now sitting at number 3. Well above Tether, and even well above Polkadot and Cardano. In fact, it's 50% higher than even Polkadot and Cardano. That is how high Binance Coin is. And they are just rocking it. People are actually wondering if Binance Coin is going to flip with Ethereum. And, I mean, it's the right question to ask. There's still a big gap. But you know what? Ethereum is not looking too good right now from the simple fact that it's too congested. We knew that this was a problem. This was a problem back in 2017. Ethereum couldn't handle ICOs. There was a ton of congestion, a ton of fees. And then 2018, 2019, 2020 rolled around. No one cared because there wasn't a whole lot of activity going on in Ethereum until latter half of 2020 when DeFi started getting hot. And then it got hotter, and now it's like true, like full-blown DeFi season. And you know what? People are sick of high gas prices, right? And there is like absolutely nothing Ethereum could do right now. There's nothing Vitalik and team could do about it right now. It all hinders on the projects themselves, such as Uniswap, Aave, Compound, SushiSwap, all these guys, right? That is feeding and running on top of Ethereum. They have to figure out what to do because the competitors, the competition that are riding on Binance Coin, they're up and running. They have no problems with high gas fees, and they have no problems with congestion, and they're already operating just as good as the big boys on Ethereum. So they have a problem. That is why Binance Coin and Binance Smart Chain is shooting up to the moon. And I've covered Binance Coin a lot. I created multiple videos about it. So I don't want to go and explain the whole thing in detail. But just know this. One of the properties of Binance Coin that really sets it apart, something that Ethereum is talking about, that EIP 1559 for Ethereum is based on network usage. They are proposing that they can actually burn ETH tokens. And that would help with inflation because Ethereum, Polkadot, others don't have a set cap. They are inflationary, so there's going to be more every year. But the thing about Binance Coin is it's deflationary. It's more deflationary than even Bitcoin. Bitcoin just has halving events, so there's less and less release until it hits a total supply. Binance Coin has a set supply, but they utilize profits to burn tokens. And they do that every single quarter, and they said they're going to accelerate their burning so that by the time they're done, there's only 100 million BNB left. So right now you could see it's at 154 million. That figure over the next 7 to 8 years, that's when they plan on finishing the burn, will drop to 100 million. So it's going to drop by 50 million over these next few years. And as more and more people utilize it, this drops significantly faster. So CZ created the ultimate deflationary token to be used in the Binance ecosystem. And finally, people are paying attention to it. And that is why it is skyrocketing to the moon. And this was really driven after this announcement. And when I looked at this, I even said it in the stream. I'm like, now there's a way for people to evaluate exchanges. Because before, everything is speculatory. You're just versing, other projects. You really have no idea what something is worth. But now, since Coinbase is going to IPO, right, NASDAQ private market is valuing it that it's at least 77 billion, if not more, right? So that sets a figure that if Coinbase is worth $77 billion, don't you think at least Binance is worth $77 billion? And Binance is bigger than Coinbase, much bigger, much more global. So that is what really triggered it. And people put 1 to 1. It's like, okay, Binance Coin was only at like 20 billion. And, Coinbase is at least 77. So that's at least 4x, right? So now, even at this price level, this is still roughly half of what Coinbase is worth, right? So realistically, is it going to keep going up? Can it continue? Can it hold its value? I think so. I mean, it's gone up so much so fast. So those of you guys that are trying to FOMO in, trying to replace your Ethereum with it, may want to wait until it cools off a little bit. But honestly, I don't know if it's going to cool off because DeFi is so hot right now. But it's not just Binance Coin right now. If you go down the list and you look at some of these other exchange tokens that have come out afterwards, look at Huobi. Huobi token is up 40%. This is not a coincidence, right? People are now looking at exchange tokens and they're all comparing it to Coinbase. Same thing with Voyager. Voyager has gone up to the moon recently, right? I really enjoyed the Voyager app. They're letting a lot more people in. Look at it. Voyager is now over $1 billion. And then others are also climbing. So exchange tokens, I think, are going to be the next wave of like pumps. I think it could be coming to exchange tokens. So pay attention. But obviously Binance is leading the way. Now, what's also helping is the fact that DeFi, you look at DeFi Pulse, it didn't really move since yesterday. In fact, you could argue that it actually went down. And that's because the people that are on it are still on it. But there are a lot of people that's moving away. So the total locked-in value did not really change. Yesterday was still around 41 billion, right? And you could see these projects mostly they're kind of even. You don't see any big pumps. But if you look at this DeFi Station, which measures the locked-in value on just Binance chain projects, this has gone up 4 billion since yesterday. So you could see that the total locked-in value on just a few projects on Binance chain is already 1/4 of everything on Ethereum. That is enormous gain within a very short amount of time, right? And that is why a lot of these projects, you can see the 24-hour change, they're going up to the moon, such as PancakeSwap, which has now flipped over SushiSwap. And it's now trying to catch up to Uniswap. And Venus, which is just like a MakerDAO compound Aave kind of project, that is also going up in a big way, right? So this is obviously helping BNB, is driving things up. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. DeFi is here to stay. I know a lot of people are still very hesitant about DeFi, but here's the best way to look at it, in my opinion, okay? And this is how I came to the conclusion I did. You look at Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin is going to go up a lot more than here, right? Bitcoin is going to be equivalent to gold. It will surpass gold. It will become the ultimate store value. And I'll sit at number 1, being the top asset of the world. But then what? Does that mean it's over? Well, it's over for other assets, but what about all these other companies? What about all the banks and tech companies out there? Are they just going to be the dominant powerhouse forever? Right? Are we going to do traditional banking, centralized banking forever? Are we going to utilize centralized services forever? No. That is the whole point of altcoins. They're the next generation, the open source, decentralized apps and projects and companies of the future, right? That is why DeFi is so big now, because people realize, hey, you don't need to go to a bank and get a loan, which is stupid. Because even if you had a lot of collateral and you had no credit, you have bad credit, they would not give you a loan. With DeFi, there's no one to judge. You got collateral, you put it down, you take out a loan within minutes. That's it, right? There's no middleman. It's all governed by code and it's fair, right? So that's why DeFi is to stay. It's very early. It's very, very early. And there, of course, there are pump and dumps, but still, DeFi is evolving. It's going to be the next generation of banking, basically. And same thing with a lot of these projects like Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, even arguably Binance Smart Chain. They're going to be the next operating system of the future. They're going to power the future dApps that we can't even think of right now, right? So that is why, after I came to this conclusion, it's like, hey, Bitcoin will continue to do its thing. It's going to keep going up until it's number one as a top asset of the world. But that doesn't mean it's just going to stop. What about everything else? What about all the innovations there are with the blockchain, right? And with a lot of these other projects with DeFi, this category, and even token offerings, right? There's a whole lot to this space, and there's a whole lot coming. So that is why I think altcoins, DeFi are definitely here to stay. That's why it changed my mind. For a very long time, I was just a Bitcoin bull, right? Bitcoin Maximus, as you could say. But I've really, really changed. I opened up my mind, and I think there's a lot more coming. All right. So speaking so much about DeFi, before I get in Q&A, I do have a new sponsor. This is a project, actually, a lot of people ask me about because they've been making waves already, and that is Unistake. So Unistake is built on top of Uniswap. So it is concentrating on ERC20, but they have a really unique system now where they will allow you to not only stake within a liquidity pool, but also stake your token at the same time. So Uniswap is my sponsor today. And, you know, I looked at it and I'm like, this is actually pretty good because they actually do have a few use cases that you don't see with any other DEXs out there, or AMMs, I should say, right? So the biggest thing is if you are using Uniswap, you might as well use Unistake because Unistake allows you to stake and put in liquidity into a liquidity pool. They allow you to do both simultaneously, which you can't do on Uniswap right now. So that's the biggest reason why you want to do it. But they also have a few other things. So pool stake is what I just described, where you can do both at the same time. Now, I don't know why. Maybe they're getting DDoSed. Now it's not showing up. Oh, come on. I don't want to go through this. Click on a boat. A boat. A boat. A boat. A boat. I should have loaded a page before I did this. I don't see any other boats. Okay, finally. Okay, I don't want to click on the other one. So I'm just going to explain it because I don't want to go through that again. But pool stake is what I just described where you could do both. Pool match is actually something else where, you know, if you stake on Uniswap, you're supposed to stake both pairs, right? So you have to provide liquidity to both pools. But with Unistake, you don't have to. You can only stake on one side, and then they match it with someone else that's staking on the other side. So it's kind of interesting how they could do that. That's another advantage. So you don't have to stake both liquidity pools. You just have to do one. And then also they have a multiplier thing where basically you stake for long term and they give you a 2x multiplier. There are some stipulations for that, but they basically allow you to do that. So they bring some unique stuff. Looking at this, I didn't know this, but they raised a huge amount. They raised 5,000 ETH. So if you do the math, that's tens of millions of dollars. So they definitely have plenty of capital. Looking at their light paper, looking at a total supply, they have a max cap, 280 million, which is great. 120 million at launch, and only 5 million is dedicated to a team. So that's less than 2%, which means the team is not very greedy at all, which is also good. The other thing about the team is I have to bring up, according to Light Paper, is they are anonymous. So unfortunately, we don't know who they are, but they decided to do that for their own safety's sake, just like a lot of other DeFi projects out there, right? So, and looking at Unistake, they are already on CMC. So that's why people ask me about it. They're up already. 36 million overall market cap, not too bad. And looking at where you can buy it, Uniswap, Gate.io, right? So obviously, people would probably look at Uniswap. So that is Unistake. So Unistake's pretty interesting. So if you want to learn more about them, I'm going to have all their links in the description of this video, so make sure you check it out afterwards. All right, so that is it. Let me turn to you guys for some Q&A. Kawaka. I apologize. I made this in 37 seconds in BNB. Just saying thanks for reachers. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of people made a lot of money in BNB, right? And I just gotta say this. I've been talking a lot about all these altcoins I'm finding, right? The ones I'm discovering. There are some that are that has been around forever, right? And nothing really changed until like some event happened. Sometimes these projects, they stay dormant for a long time, and then something like triggers it, right? And I think that's what happened with Binance Coin. I didn't see it very, very, very early, but I did start hearing more and more complaints about congestion problems on Ethereum and gas fees. People that utilize Uniswap that says it takes $90 to conduct a trade, right? And you got to pay attention to these things. If people are paying $90 per trade, think about everyone that's on there. Maybe the whales don't care, but everyone else that's trying to flip and trade and make a quick buck, or even to stake for staking rewards in the liquidity pools, are they really go pay the $90 both ways, which is almost $200, or are they going to look for a better alternative, right? So sometimes you just got to pay attention to trend shifts. So that's something that I think I do well at is, I concentrate on fundamentals, right? Fundamentals, why they exist, are they a good team, what problem do they solve, all this stuff. And then also you look at trend shifts, which a lot of times if you pay attention, you could definitely spot it. Matt asks, when do you anticipate ADA to start gaining traction and attention? Lots of events coming up. Matt, just before this Binance pump, ADA was pumping up to the moon already. ADA has been pumping up quite a lot, which is why it's nearing $1. It wasn't too long ago that Cardano was below 10 cents. So they have pumped up 10x relatively quickly. So right now, same thing with Polkadot. So right now, even though they're not pumping like today, it's not pumping on like BNB, doesn't mean that they didn't pump already. They did quite a bit, which is why they're number 5 and number 6. And I think both are going to flip past Tether. And that's a good thing. Remember, not too long ago, Tether was like, top 20, top 30. And then they climbed to top 10, and then they climbed to top 5. And I'm like, that's embarrassment to the entire crypto community, right? Tether should not be sitting at top 5. So I'm glad to see that we're finally going to be able to push that down further, at least to number 6. And hopefully we can push that out of top 10 and while all these other ones are coming up, right? Oh, yeah, that reminds me. So 2 super chats that are early on. Number 1 is Aave. Is it going to start moving again? And number 2 is Ren. So I kind of explained this. This relates to this trend shift, right? So Aave, Uniswap, these traditional DeFi plays that's built on Ethereum, that's utilizing ERC20 tokens, they may be taking an extended breather because number 1, they have already pumped up to the moon. Aave Uniswap has gone up tens of thousands of % within a very short amount of time. And number two is because of the high gas fee. So a lot of people are looking for better alternatives, which is why you could see Uniswap at 6 billion, right? They have been 6 billion for a while. It's not like they've gone down. They've just been stagnant there for a while. And then you could see that someone like PancakeSwap is now at 2 billion. And PancakeSwap is even above Sushi because people are looking for a better alternative, or a cheaper alternative, I should say. And that's what's happening, right? And same thing with Aave. There's no real direct competitor of Aave on Binance Chain yet, but I would say Venus is probably the closest one. But that's my thought about Aave and Uniswap and Compound and all these other guys. They may be taking extended breather for a while. Doesn't mean that they go tank, but they might just stay out where they are for a while. Now, another one that has been going up, and I'm quite surprised by it, is Ren. Ren has jumped up a staggering 50% overnight. So Ren is in the space of swapping liquidity. So you can see bring BTC, BCH, Zcash, and Ethereum to DeFi projects. So they could just swap it for you. And they do look, I don't know if they actually, I think they may have been, they have some kind of tie with Binance. I don't know if they were part of their launchpad or something, but yeah, I'm quite surprised because they are focused on Ethereum, right? And all the other ones have been weak, but Ren has gone up. So I don't know if it's maybe this Ren bridge too. Let's take a look at it because I'm curious myself. I don't know why it started going up. Oh, that's why. That's why. Okay, this makes a whole lot of sense. This makes me a lot more bullish on Ren. Because look at it. Ren Bridge 2, the DeFi ecosystem now has access to the below assets. Ren BTC on Ethereum and Binance Chain. BCH on Ethereum, Binance Chains. Okay, so it's actually bring BTC, Zcash, and Doge and BCH not only to Ethereum, but on Binance Smart Chain. Okay, this makes a whole lot of sense. This is why it's pumping. So Ren had the foresight, and maybe they're part of the launchpad, so they were forced to, but this is a perfect situation for them. So now that Ethereum is kind of cooling off with DeFi and Binance is warming up, this is going to help Ren in a big way. So it makes a whole lot of sense that they have pumped up. So I'm glad someone asked me about it because I was curious myself. I just didn't have a chance to look at it. But that makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. What do you think about Chainlink? Why it's underperforming versus other altcoins? Well, it's not. How is it underperforming? It's up 8% today, and up 16% for the week. It's fine. Chainlink is the biggest Oracle play in town. That's not gonna go away anytime soon. So they shot up quite a bit, but they're kind of one of those projects that really has no innovations anymore because they're already done. All they're doing is onboarding new partners, which is fine, but there's really not like Chainlink 3.0 or Chainlink 5.0 coming up. There's nothing really big because they're already pretty much done. So I think that may be why they're a little bit stagnant, but also Chainlink is built on Ethereum, so Link is a ERC20 token, so it does cost a lot too to utilize. So that maybe plays part of it, but Chainlink is fine. So keep in mind, like I said, the entire market is carried by Bitcoin. Nothing is really standing on its own just yet. Appreciate that super chat. But here's the thing, right? I created a lot of videos, predictions of where things could be 1 year from now. And some of the numbers are insanely high and people, don't believe it, think it's clickbait. But here's the thing. Does anyone not believe that Bitcoin is going to go 10x from here? Does anyone in this chat, anyone watching that really does not believe Bitcoin is going to go higher to 500,000 to equal gold? So if you believe Bitcoin could go up 10x, why would you not believe some of these altcoins could go 10x or 20x, right? Because traditionally altcoins do move faster. Certain periods of time, especially during altcoin season, they move way faster. So Bitcoin can go up 10x. Why would these big caps not go up 10x too? With the exception of Tether, of course, and maybe the exception of XRP and also Litecoin. But, Ethereum being at 2,000, could it go up 10x to 20,000? Yeah. Binance at 300 go up 10x to 3,000? Yeah. Polkadot go to 330 and Cardano being at $10, if not more? Yeah. And if you do a multiplier, 2x, on top of that, they're going to get insane, right? So as high as they are now, I think the growth is going to be much higher, mainly because Bitcoin is nowhere near in topping out. Now, it's a different story if Bitcoin stays at 55,000 literally forever and it starts coming down, and then you see altcoins still skyrocketing, then it'll be very, very similar to 2017, 2018. But we're not there. Bitcoin is only getting stronger. And if Bitcoin keeps going up and carrying the market, there's no reason to think any of the altcoins will falter because Bitcoin is still leading the way, right? So that's how I view it. That's how I view it. I think things are going to go a lot higher, mainly due to Bitcoin. Matthew asked, do you recommend holding ETH or selling? That's up to you. There are definitely other projects moving faster, but let's not forget, things take turns. Ethereum just pumped up. It's nearing 2,000. It pumped up pretty quick from about 1,300. So it has moved pretty quick. In fact, if you look at a year history, it has outperformed Bitcoin in terms of growth. So sometimes you just got to wait. You got to wait for it to, come alive. It takes turns. No money. Appreciate that. Lord Henry, your opinion on left hand. I missed that. Thank you. Dash Digital Cash. So that looks like a fork of Dash. It's probably going to be bad. I'm just going to say that. Wait, there's no Dash Digital Cash. There's just Dash Cash. I don't know which one you're looking at. Unless you're just talking about Dash itself, which I don't think so. Yeah. A lot of privacy coins have done really well recently too. They started coming up in a big way. Me personally, I don't like privacy coins because I think they're all going to be delisted in the near future, so it's not going to help things. But it really depends. It really depends, I guess, what you're buying it for. If you're buying it because you believe in a project and you want to have secure transactions, then great. But if you're buying it to make money, I don't like privacy stuff. Compound, I like Compound, and I think Compound is like a cheaper version of Aave. But the problem is Compound is also now stuck, just like Aave. Well, Aave integrate would be Binance Smart Chain. Well, yeah. Trust me when I say this. Uniswap and Aave and Compound, they're probably sweating right now, having endless meetings about how to transit off of Uniswap. Off of Ethereum. I have no doubt they are having constant meetings like, hey, can we utilize a second layer solution right now? Or can we move and adapt and come up with a new version where it works on Binance Smart Chain? Which would not be hard because that's one of the advantages of Binance Smart Chain is it's EVM compatible. So that makers, project makers can relatively easily port their code over. So I bet you they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it hard. Maybe Uniswap v3 will be compatible with Binance Smart Chain. But until then, they're going to be sweating because they're probably not going to be moving. They're not going to be sweating anyways. What am I talking about? Their projects are worth multi-billion dollars, right? So the founders, they're all insanely rich. So they're not sweating. They're not sweating at all. But they don't want to lose their edge. Let's put it that way. They're already the leaders. They don't want to lose their edge. These two are the top dogs up here, right? They don't want to fall to the bottom of the list and see others come up, right? So they're probably having endless meetings right now to kind of figure out what's going on. Thank you for that super chat. Call large. Appreciate it. Yeah, Pancake Swap is actually a fork of Uniswap. And Uniswap probably doesn't like that, but it was just like a direct fork off. I haven't looked into Lit yet, so I can't really talk about it. Is Reef bad? No, it's just that it's on Polkadot, and DeFi is not really hot on Polkadot right now. Martha, no, you may not, unfortunately. But a lot of people are having problems with their Coinbase account, which is why I say to get off of Coinbase. There's no support, basically. There is a number you could call. Maybe you get lucky and someone will pick up, but a lot of times they don't pick up, and their support is very lackluster right now. So that's why I recommend to get off of Coinbase. Utilize Gemini, the great exchange. Binance.us, great exchange. Voyager app, great exchange. Even Kraken, great exchange. A lot of these are a little bit harder to use, but I would say Gemini has a really easy system. Kind of like Coinbase, just not as many tokens, but their customer service is fantastic. Made Safe Network, it was the very first ICO, beta in 6 weeks. They're an old coin, man. They've been around for a long time. I hate that name. Made Safe Coin. I hate that name. I forgot what they're about. Autonomous decentralized data network that boosts extra hard drive space, processing power, and data connectivity for its users. I don't know what that means. They're like a cloud computing for left hand, appreciate it. Freedom, expression, control, personal data, privacy, secure network. Okay. So they're trying to build out a secure cloud internet so that you can have private, secure transactions, communications, and also control your data. Yeah, it seems like that's what they're about. Trying to create a secure network for your things. Okay. I can't say that it's bad, but something that I'm not very excited about. So, and their volume is really, really, really low. Less than 2 million volume 24 hours means that there's really no one that's looking at this coin or project, I should say. Roshan, what do I think about Unistake? I just actually covered them. So they were the sponsor today, but they're actually pretty unique. They allow you to do stuff on do stuff on Unistake you couldn't do separately. I mean, Uniswap. They allow you to do stuff on Uniswap separately that you couldn't do, like stake and provide for liquidity pool, and also just provide liquidity for one pair. So they actually look pretty good. The only thing is they are a ERC20 based. They're based on Uniswap. So we'll see if Uniswap could get out of this funk. Because right now they are in a funk. Moves. I appreciate that. Electroneum is one project that I actually covered recently. I did a recap of them in Patreon, and they actually impressed me. They actually do, and they're running a TV ad. I think it's called Just Tasks is their new site. It's a micro gig site for people that don't even have bank accounts. You just utilize everything in the ETN app. It actually surprised me. I actually think Electroneum looks pretty darn good. But again, it's like, it's not sexy right now, you know? That's the thing. DeFi is sexy right now. So someone like Electroneum is just not. But I think if given time, they get enough traction, they will be. Won't be a good time to draw earnings on BNB Cake. Do it right now. Do it. Anytime you feel like you're too greedy and you need to take some profits, do it. No one gets hurt taking profits, right? But overall, I think the whole market is increasing, so they're going to get bigger. But there will be times where it goes up and down, and nothing goes up forever, right? There will be times where it goes up and down. Bitcoin keeps going up, 54,700. BNB is still above 300, so they're definitely holding really, really well. Overall market cap is nearing $1.7 trillion. So yeah, things are looking pretty darn good, guys. If you haven't been paying attention, things are looking pretty darn good at this point. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Well, I did mention it. Yeah, I mentioned about exchanges. I think pay attention to exchanges. I think exchange tokens will come up. People will say, okay, Binance is going up so much. I better look at Huobi or KuCoin or Voyager, right? And they have been going up. Voyager is like a dedicated app. So they're still letting people off the wait list. So unfortunately, you can't get on right now. But they are letting a lot more people in. And it's primarily the place that you could buy VGX tokens. So VeChain bull still here. Great, Brian. VeChain, you know, VeChain is VeChain. It's pumped up a little bit recently. I'm glad to see above Neo, but until China opens up fully to full-blown crypto, VeChain will probably be stagnant until that happens. I really think once China opens up their digital yuan and open up all the wallets and trading and exchanges and stuff, that's when VeChain will really take off. Jason has thoughts on Utrust and their partnership with Shopify. I don't like Utrust at all because they're PayPal. They're trying to be a decentralized PayPal, and no one wants that in the crypto world. Just think about it. The whole point of crypto is there's no middleman. You could send it to someone and they could send it to you. No one's in the middle to stop you. What is the purpose of Utrust? Is to become a middleman so that they're trying to be a PayPal. So there's an arbitration that's in the middle. And that goes against why crypto exists. So that's why I've never liked Utrust at all. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. Good amount of people that tuned in. Today, definitely a good day. Bitcoin, altcoins, Binance, all the DeFi projects, right? That's on Binance Smart Chain. They're doing hot. Really, really, really hot, right? If you haven't been paying attention, you need to. So I've been creating a lot of videos, you know, mostly at night where I concentrate on altcoins. You know, I've been talking about DeFi, you know, for at least a few weeks, even beyond that. I'm like, things are about to change, right? Did a lot of them on various different altcoins, cover Binance, you know, Binance Chain a lot, right? Even some of the cooking, some of the cooking projects yesterday. But things are definitely exciting right now. If you didn't watch those videos, make sure you do so at the end of this one. But I think the market is going to go much further than this. The landscape is very different in my eyes, and it's time to enjoy it. It's time to enjoy it. That's all I could say, right? All right. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Check out my Patreon page if you want to chat with me and others, get some help, learn, collaborate, and get some exclusive content. Then check out my Patreon page. And if you want a crash course on Bitcoin, you're here, you just want to know more about it, then check out my Teachable page. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until tonight. Bye-bye.